Georgia Ezra on Dubai Eye 103.8. It is Afternoons with me, Helen Farmer, and I'm keeper of the clues today. We're signing up once again for 4 tickets to join us for the House and House movie night. We are going to be watching The Bad Guys 2. I absolutely loved the first one. My kids were hooked. They watched the Halloween Heist when that came out. The premise is, of course, some bad guys who are trying so hard to be good. This one is proving to be a bit more of a challenge. So if you fancy going along and joining us with free popcorn and free drinks, by the way, at Roxy Cinemas on Monday, August 4th at Dubai Hills, have a listen to this. If you can tell me which bad guy it is, you could win those tickets.
I do not run. That is not how I roll.
Don't do anything crazy.
Crazy is what I bring to the party, Chico.
Is that Mr. Piranha or Mr. Lion? Send in your answer, please, and your name to 4001. You could be winning those 4 tickets before the end of the show. And you can actually go to DubaiEye1038.com for an extra chance to join us for an evening of fun and family entertainment and laughs. And yes, complimentary popcorn and soft drink too. It is going to be Monday, August 4th. So make sure you are available that evening to join us with House and House at Roxy Cinemas. The cost of living crisis is hitting students hard, and to make matters worse, universities are offering inaccurate financial guidance on their websites, some figures dating back to 2019. So what does that mean for us parents who are trying to budget, whether university is 2 years or 10 years away? Joining us to discuss is Carol Glynn from Conscious Finance Coaching. And I find this, listen, it's scaring me. I'm going to be totally truthful. But to my mind, I'm like, okay, this is all information. It's information I'd rather have now when my kids are 8 and 10. Yours are at 11 and 13, rather than kind of 16 and 17, because as I had a message from someone else going, we've left it too late. We're scrambling. Given the challenges identified, Carol, by, in client work that you've done and, of course, being highlighted by this study, what are some of your practical budgeting and financial planning tips for parents before they embark on that university journey?
So start planning as early as possible. I mean, some of my clients have started as soon as nearly the child is born, just to ease that pressure. They're putting a fund aside. I know that's probably not great news for a lot of people, but the vast majority don't. So I would say, whatever stage you're at, that's the stage you're at. There's no point in going into should haves, could haves, would haves.
It's the classic.
Start now.
The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today.
It's a cliche and it's annoying, but it's true. Mm-hmm. So start now. Set aside an amount of money. Now, if you are within 2 or 3 years, you want to be pretty safe with that money. So put it into like an account where you're getting interest on it. Don't risk it with investing it. It's too short of a timeline. If you've got 5 years plus, then, you want to really look at getting full potential by trying to invest it into something to help it grow. But save as much as you can. Find out how much you potentially will need. I always advise go for want of a better phrase, the worst case scenario. So go for the Harvards, let's say, right?
Like, my child wants to study 7 years of medicine at Harvard. That's what we're aiming towards. It's like, how many kidneys do I need to live?
I know, exactly. And I'm like, well, you know what? Then you've extra money. If you manage to achieve it and they don't use it, amazing. You've got extra money. But just aim high.
And what about from a student point of view? Because an interesting message that's come in from Remy saying, is it better to give kids a monthly allowance or make them budget with a lump sum for the whole term? Listen, Remy, I'm going to take you back to the year 2000. We're in Leeds. My dad gave me a lump sum for the term. What do you think happened? But did I learn my lesson? Yes, definitely. What would you say as a mum and a financial whiz?
I think with all the best intentions, we need to do it in piecemeal. Very few kids, unless they are super sensible, are not at risk of doing exactly what you just described.
I had a great time, Carol.
Well, like this is, and it's learning for them, and it's learning for the parent too. Usually, what's best is to allocate it over a period of time, and do it as soon as possible. So don't wait until your child is just about to go, because that's not fair on them either. Like, I mean, it's a lot to learn. So the sooner you start teaching these kind of budgeting skills to your child, the better.
Which leads me to Izzy's question, saying, great timing, re the summer. I want to teach our daughter money skills before she leaves for uni. What habit should she start now? So she's 16. So that's a good lead-in time, 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years is amazing. So do exactly what you would do if they weren't there. Now, of course, they're not paying for rent and things like that, but give them an allowance, boundaries around what that allowance needs to cover, and stick to it. And there's great cards now with apps where they can monitor it. My 13-year-old loves going in and she can see, you know, the brackets of how she spent her money, how much was on food and how much was on shopping, and give them practice at that. But I would say most kids react quite well from that, and they'll learn. They'll make mistakes, and that's okay. But actually, I find it's the parents find it the hardest to stick to the boundaries.
Oh, like when the puppy eyes come out.
Yes.
Or dad said I could have this.
Yes.
I think it's an interesting thing as well, because when we give pocket money or allowances, it is often weekly. And I think when you do get a little bit older into those mid to late teens, giving that money on a monthly basis could actually be a good turning point and a good prep for what life, you know, we get paid in, you know, monthly salary actually can look like. So maybe that would be a good thing to do, saying, you know, it's not going to be a weekly here. It's got to last a month. When the money's gone,
the money's gone.
The
and the other piece of that is as well, because if you've got a child who's overseas, you're going to be paying international transaction fees.
Good point.
So either you have a bank account locally that you're transferring it in, or don't do it any less than monthly, because those international fees are substantial.
I think a big trap that parents fall into, and I'm very conscious of being hypocritical here because I'm sure I'll probably fall into it or be dancing around it, is this idea of where we should send our children to university, or our children have to go to university. And we had some amazing students actually in the studio a couple of weeks ago from here in the UAE. And one was going to a technical university in the Netherlands, going to Delft. And we had another student who was doing computer science at Helsinki. And I was like, that is really cool, actually, because we do find ourselves being quite blinkered to what that looks like, to what university looks like. And me being from the UK, it was like, these are the top universities in England, and this is what's deemed to be a bit kind of village and a bit rubbish. And now the world obviously feels like a smaller place. And as Baron was saying earlier, we're seeing real value of education and the, you know, price tag associated from you know, global universities. And I think a big benefit of raising kids here in an expat environment is that they would hopefully, if we've, you know, done all right by them, feel great going to any city. You know, there might be the comfort of having a relative down the road, but how fantastic to go, I'm going to go to Barcelona, I'm going to go to Helsinki, I'm going to go to Dublin, you know, wherever it might be. But do you feel like a lot of parents sometimes get stuck in this idea of, well, what will people think if my child's not going to a Russell Group or a Ivy League? Exactly.
And they feel like for their child to get ahead, they need to go to those places. And then they put that extra pressure on themselves. I would say, ask your child. I mean, where do they want to go? And are they really getting the value for money? Especially if it's putting major financial pressure on your family. You need to balance that with what is the best for education for your child. Does it need to be these Ivy Leagues if it's going to actually derail us so much financially?
Does it even need to be university? Like, honestly, my husband and I have had a few conversations around this. And listen, I'm under no illusions that there is a future Dr. Farmer in our daughters. But, you know, if you need to go to university for specific skill set or career path, then great. And I got a lot, as I said, socially from university, not just educationally. But it's not for everyone. Like, not everyone in the world should and needs to go to university. No. We've got, you know, jobs of all descriptions and levels and aptitudes that do not require that. You do need to think about, obviously, if you're thinking about coming to the UAE, having a degree can be very impactful on your abilities to, you know, earn and, you know, and other implications as well. But it's not just about, I need to get a BA honours or a BSc or that's the next step. You know, is it a case of, are you going just because you think you should? Are you going just because your mates are going? Would it make more sense to have a year out where you can earn
Yep.
You get a job and you contribute some money to that pot because, you know, this is where we're at as a family.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, there is, from what I have seen, now this is my own personal, I guess, observation, so it's not, you know, detailed research, that I don't see a direct correlation between the university status and what people are doing and their happiness levels, as in what they're earning. I look at financially what people are earning. People are earning all sorts on different levels of education. And then sometimes they end up getting trapped in that as well because they paid so much for their education because their parents told them that was the right thing to do and they're unhappy. So we have to think of the longer term consequences of these decisions as well.
And if you are, you know, if you do have a kid who knows what they want to do, they are capable and confident and entrepreneurial and they've got a great idea, you know, putting a fraction of that money that you would have put towards university and getting them set up and starting a business and, you know, getting them on that road. I mean, they could be laughing in 3 years' time. Their mates are graduating from uni, mega in the hole.
Yeah. And even if they don't, that is amazing life skills that they're building. Financial skills, literacy, knowledge and experience around that before they go is a gift too.
Message here saying, is not having a degree possible to work and live in the UAE? Yes, it is. It can be a barrier in terms of recruitment for sure. That's, you know, goes without saying. But yes, it is possible. But there are some interesting workarounds, which is a good topic for another day, because we've had some great experts saying, you know, there might be certain level of job or pay grade or industries that saying you need a degree, but there are some loopholes. So I'll make a note I'll send myself an email to say this is something we should cover on a future show. Carol, looking ahead, you know, it would be great to get more transparency from universities and that wider higher education sector about accuracy, about cost of living. Parents maybe need to be advocating for financial guidance for their children. Any general advice for people who are finding themselves listening to those numbers that Varun was mentioning earlier going, maybe not?
So, like I said, just start planning now. Be realistic about what you can save for. Talk to your kids about where they potentially want to go. Start planning for that. And then I would also, because like we've established, the information online may not be up to date or reliable. Try and find families who've already been there and speak to them. What is the true cost? What did they not know that they wish they knew before? And start planning for that.
In the meantime, though, if you have got your head in the sand and need some advice about day-to-day budgeting or indeed long-term planning, if you want to send me the $, I will send you the details of Carol Glenn, who's been in the studio with us today. As we said, all about being conscious about your finances, and if you need some coaching in that, whether it's individually or as a couple, then do reach out. As I said, $ to 4001 and I'll send you Carol's details. It is 2:51. Lots of you correctly guessing our mystery character for the Bad Guys 2 competition. If you've just tuned in, don't know what I'm talking about, I'll give you another chance to win after 3 o'clock.
Weather check with Air Arabia.
Now enjoy daily flights with Air Arabia Abu